we are competing with the break, and so I thank all of you who are here now, but apparently the coffee and the snacks are better than our panel, but I hope that people will start coming in. But anyway, yeah, we chose what we hope is a provocative topic. No, is well-being is smart economics. Sometimes we have to convince precisely those in charge of the economy of a country, whether it's businesses, whether it's government, so on, that it makes sense to look at well-being. So that's the idea. And it's really an honor for me to open this panel on well-being smart economic. The phrase is more than an invitation, is more than just an invitation to broaden our policy lens. It's a call to action. If we have to respond effectively to the challenges over time, we must redefine how we measure success, value investments, and structure our economic systems. Now, we're living in an era of profound transformations. It brings compounded risks, but there are also important opportunities there. Let's make sure that we are ready to face the risks and be able to seize the opportunities. But why are we failing to address the challenges effectively? And the challenges, we know them, climate change, poverty reduction was going well but stalled. We have widening disparities. We have many challenges. We also have, as I said, opportunities. For example, the digital transformation brings a lot of challenges, also brings opportunities. Let's seize them. But why is it that we are failing to address them effectively? Part of the answer, we think, lies in the dominant economic paradigms that will shape much of our decision-making. And this really invites us to reconsider long-held assumptions about behavior, what value is, cost, progress, and we have to be open to new models that place well-being, inclusion, and sustainability at the center. This echoes a critique made some years ago by Stiglitz, Sen, and Fitoussi, and others, shared by scholars like Marc Florbet, who will join us in the panel today, which regarding GDP, a topic that has been discussed throughout this morning, and we know that it was not designed as a measure of progress, yet for many it has been taken as the measure and what to look for. And this has led many decisions to be taken in policy to maximize GDP. And we see this disconnect at the macro and the micro level. At the macro, of course, national economies focusing on GDP growth, but also in the firms' decisions driven by shareholder value, by short-term profit, and this may neglect the important stakeholders for the firm, the workers being well-skilled, having affordable services, having appropriate wages, but also other stakeholders, clients, suppliers, even society at large. And this can result in societal results that are undesirable even for the firm itself in the long term. So the point is that well-being is not a luxury. It's a foundation for resilience, innovation, and for long-term growth. And now there's evidence, ample evidence and growing evidence that supports this. Investments in education, health, early childhood, and inclusion deliver remarkable economic returns. I'll just cite a few examples. Early childhood education programs yield annual returns of close to 13–15% through better school performance, health outcomes and earnings. Mental health interventions are also very important, valuable. Yet social investments, including investments in well-being, are seen usually as costs. They're not seen as an investment. This framing is both inaccurate and economically self-defeating. And now we've seen, and we had some examples today of compelling examples of innovations that show a different path. Michael Weatherhead, for instance, mentioned the case of Wales, the focus in Wales, well-being on future generations, that changes the view of, we're not looking just at ourselves today now, but also for future generation. What's the long-term well-being, legally defined goals on sustainability, equity, and health? Iceland, we're here or hosts, they have, for example, an act on the integration of services in the interest of children's prosperity, known as Iceland's Prosperity Act, which seeks to enhance child well-being by ensuring the provision of comprehensive services to children and families early in the policy process. And these cases are not isolated. There are others, interesting cases from Scotland, we had mentioned today, Finland, Canada, that have embedded well-being indicators into national strategies, performance frameworks, and budget allocations. But despite these advances, shift is far from complete. We need and we've been discussing this morning as well, new measurement systems beyond GDP, and there are interesting examples, the OECD Wellbeing Framework, the EU's Beyond GDP initiative, the SAGE dashboard of Dennis Nauer and colleagues at the Global Solutions Initiative. But the point is, we need to continue along this path, but really bringing into changes on the ground. We need institutional reforms that embed well-being into public budgeting, procurement and infrastructure planning, and even social policies in general. For instance, health policies, we know, do not give enough attention to mental health as they do to physical health in many places. Furthermore, the traditional structure of public administrations with sectoral outlook, agriculture, economy, health, education, which is basically what happens everywhere, what we find is that this leads to silos and doesn't allow to look appropriately at cross-cutting topics, well-being one of them, poverty reduction, another one, combating climate change, another one. It's not an issue just for the Ministry of the Environment, or in the case of poverty, the Ministry of Social Affairs. It has to be for everyone. All the government itself has to be looking at this. We know that in this Wellbeing Forum, we'll be talking a lot about health, and I'm sure the issue of social determinants of health will come up. And we know, for instance, that a big portion of the health results we find everywhere are not related to health interventions or in health clinics or by medical personnel, by health personnel. They're related to the environment people live in, their interaction with others, the social conditions, access to safe water, pollution, public safety, other aspects that are usually not seen as part of health, but yet have a very big impact. So, if we're going to look at health, or we look at climate change, or we look at well-being, we look at poverty, we really have to go beyond our general way of how we look at things, to look at things intersectorally, interdisciplinary, and again, beyond GDP. We also need a new understanding of returns that includes social and environmental benefits alongside financial outcomes. We need innovation in delivery. A school is not just a place for academic learning. It can be a hub for mental health, nutrition, and community inclusion. Housing is not just about shelter. It can reduce stress, improve health, and enable access to work and education. Just over the breaks, Andreen Dixon was telling me about an initiative precisely on housing and how it can be used to change many aspects of the well-being. We need to redefine, in the end, how we measure progress, reform institutions, and reframe public budgets to prioritize human development, and treat investments in well-being as the smartest economic decisions that we make. This is what we're doing in UNESCO, especially in the management of social transformations network. That's why we're here, and we are so happy to be part of the Wellbeing Economy Forum. And now we turn to our speakers. They have already been introduced. I'll see.